Yeah, welcome back to this video, and now we will discuss more about the files and learn about the permissions and the user. You can run a lot of commands here, and if you can just want to know which user you are, then you can write a command called who am I, and it will tell you that you are the root user. Or now I can also tell you that there is a command called touch. It's a very simple command. All that it does it creates a file. If you pass touch, say file1, right, .txt. Okay, I'm just giving txt because it helps us to understand that it's a text file. Okay, then what it does is in the current directory it will create a file named txt. Okay, this helps if you just want to create a file and not a content inside it, then you can use touch command. What I can tell you is uh, when you create a file, or for example when you say touch and you want to create in /var/root, not under dir1. Okay, I want to create a file in dir under /var root, not under dir1. So I can say okay, touch a file, and I'll give a file name, file2. So when I do ls, it's not here, but it is there, one directory above. Now how do I go back to one directory? Either I give how do I go back to a directory above? Either I give a path cd/var/rot, right, and then you see the path has changed, right, and then if I do ls, I'll be able to see file2, right, file2 exists because that's what I created, and I said touch, that means create a file in file2 inside this, right. I'll go back to my old path. Cd hyphen will take you to the previous path, the previous location before you changed directory. Like it's like undo the change of directory. No matter how many times you would have run other commands, you can run cd minus anytime, cd hyphen anytime. So for example, if I run cd hyphen this time, it will take me to /var root. It did. And if I run it again, I'm using an up arrow, I am not typing it always, then it will take me to dir1, right. This is how cd hyphen works. The other thing that I wanted to tell you is how do you move to a file, to another directory. One option is to give an absolute path. That means from this slash is the topmost file. Okay, from this slash you are telling that go to where, and the next slash is only a separator. This slash actually exists. Okay, it's the root file, and then inside that there's a where directory, and then this one is a separator. You say under where, under root. This is how you say that this is my absolute path. You can give a relative path, and you can say cd dot dot. Now when you say dot dot, it means the parent directory. Okay, where is the parent directory? You can find it everywhere. ls-la. What does a mean? We have used ls-l, right? We have not used ls-la. What does a mean? A says that, okay, even the hidden file should be shown. That means show me all files. A is for all, so it shows all the files. You see that in the Linux directory structure, the hidden files are also shown, right? So this is a hidden directory, which is a double dot. Current directory is a single dot, right? So let me check what is there inside the current directory. Okay, there is dir1, and there's another link. Okay, let me go to dir1, cd dir1. I can do that because I don't have to give a complete path. I know that under root I have dir1, right? I do cd dir1, I do an ls-l. Okay, if I want to go to dir2, I'll say dir2. Okay, and there's nothing inside it. Okay, that's what is about how do you move around in the file system. Suppose you have to go to the root, just type cd slash and you go to the root. Now I want you to show what are the directories and other files that are inside ls, inside the root. Most of these are the system files, almost all of them are the operating systems files. So I just do an ls, and there you see ls-l. You see that all these are directories except one is a link file, there's another link file, and there are directories, right? We'll learn about other options, like I'm just asking you to look into the D thing, right? And the L is the L, right? We'll learn about the permissions now. You would see that everywhere when you do a long listing, it shows RWX in set of 3. If there is no permission, it shows an hyphen. Okay, why are there 3 sets? I'll talk about that. But then, before I do that, any file will have a permission of read, write, or execute. Okay, if they don't, for example, this file or this directory doesn't have the write permission, so it doesn't show W here. Okay, and then similarly for no W here. Okay, to understand the other sets, other 2 sets, I need to tell you that for any file, there is a user and this column. Okay, this is the first column, second column, third column. This column is about the user or the owner who owns this file. Then the second one is group. So the first set of permission is about the owner of the file, the user. Okay, the second is for the group. So say 2 or more users can belong to a group. So in one shot you can give permissions to all those who belong to a group. So there is a user named root and there's a group named root. You can create different users, you can create different groups, n number of users and groups. Okay, it's just that we are using this site's terminal, so we are using whatever is available, right? It can belong to Ubuntu if you're on Ubuntu user, or you can go to /var www where you store all your HTML files. That can belong to the www data user, that's the Apache user. And if you want to create a new user, you can create. Let's ignore this is about the file size now. Then this is the creation or the modified date. We'll get into the details later. And this is the file name, right? Right now my objective is to talk about this. Okay, so we will go to home directory. Question: how do you go to your home directory? Just type cd, enter. That's our home directory currently. Let me see the files there. I type ls and I can see my files. I want to see the long display of that, ls-l. Okay, now these are the files that I have. Let's work on this. Let me choose file 2. Okay, file 2 it belongs to the user named root, right? And then I see that the user, who owns the file, has no execute permission. Okay, so how do I give it execute permission? We'll talk about only given permissions. Permissions, to give a permission, either you should be a super user or you should own that file. Okay, then let me run this command chmod, right? And then I'll say u is for user. To the user give write permission, right? But just like ls or cat and other things, this is a program or a command, right? And this is the option that I'm passing on. But then I need to specify which file we are talking about. So I'll say, okay, file 2. So let's remember this. It doesn't have, file 2 has write permission, right? It has. So we'll remove it. Or I'll say, okay, I want to give an execute permission. X is for execute. Okay, I'll do that. So file 2, you see an X is added. Earlier there was no X for it, right? Now suppose you have to remove that permission. I'm using the up arrow to move through my commands. Okay, this is up, down, right? So if I have to remove a permission, suppose I want to remove the write permission, I'll say -w, right? And then if I see the permissions, the write permission is gone. Okay, so nobody can write, it's write protected now. So for example, if I open with my editor, it will say that, you see, this is a read only, you cannot write. Now there is nothing in it. You can type clear to clear the screen, ls to list it out, ls-l, right? Let's see, let's use this hello.c. This will lead us to understanding VI editor. Although the VI editor is very powerful and there are a lot of options you can use with VI editor, it may be difficult to learn. A good option is a nano editor, which I don't think is available here. Nano editor is a simple editor which tells you how to save and write and edit. It's very similar to the notepad that's found on Windows, but VI is a little advanced, so it has its own mode of command and execution and view. So we'll get into that. Let's now continue with the permissions. Okay, Uh, Another thing that you need to know when you work on permissions is you need to be a super user, or you can use the sudo command. There are certain users who can belong to a super user group. So if your user currently belongs to that user group, then you can use the sudo command and then run uh, like permissions like change mod, right? Then you can use this change mod. What should we do now? Let's see. I want to give all of them execute permissions. So what I do is UG user group and others. I want to give execute permissions, right, for hello.c. Okay, sudo is not from because I'm already root, and this terminal that I've got online, I'll not get that. Let me do ls-l. I gave an execute permission, right? I want to give all permissions, not only execute. So I'll use the up arrow key, and no matter if it has or not, I want to give it rwx. Let me see, did it get rwx? You see it got all. So now everybody can read, write and execute. Even others, those who don't even belong to the group or don't own the file, they can also do that. You may not want to always do that to happen. Okay, so keep your files protected based on who should read or write. Let me see if I can open hello.c. I'll tell you about VI in the next video. Well, yes, it's readable. It doesn't say read only. It's writable. It doesn't say it's read only. So how do you make it read only? What we'll do is I want the user, or let us do read only for everyone. User group and others cannot read. So I'll cannot write. So I'll remove the write permission from hello.c. Let me check, did it do that? Hello.c, there's no W in this, correct. Then I'll go ahead and open this file, and it says, the editor tells me that you cannot write, it's a read-only file. Great. I'll escape this. I'll tell you how to use the VI editor later. And that's all for now. We have learned about changing permissions of the file. See you in the next video.